Madison, if you are so happy with David, if you are so over the moon and you being loved the way that you want to be loved, and he is the man of your dreams, and he is this, that, and the third, why is Michelle living rent free in your head? Because I know me, myself personally, if I was with this man that I feel is just the love of my life and my soulmate and my homie lover friend and all that type of stuff, I'm not worried about his past bitch. I'm not. I'm not worried about her. Especially not if I took him from her. Like I for sure ain't worried about her. So what is it? Right? Is this guilt seeping through your pores? Or are you having buyer's remorse with David? The man from the basement that you had to move into your one bedroom apartment, that you're the breadwinner in their relationship, and you're clearly paying all the bills. Now, what is it, hun? Come sit right here and tell Tam all about it. Come on. Come on. What's up, everybody? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. We are here to talk Married at First Sight Season 18. Where are they now? If you guys are brand new to the channel, or if you've been here all season and you just have not yet subscribed, or if YouTube unsubscribed you from the channel, because that happens too, apparently, according to the peoples. So if you guys are not subscribed, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, y'all. We are still on the road to 35,000 subscribers. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Now, remember last week I said that I was going to be live with Roxy this week? There's the episode. So next week, Roxy and I will be live and we'll hang out and we will talk all things Married at First Sight Season 18. All right. So let's get into this episode because I'm not saying that we didn't need it, but I'm saying we didn't need it. Now, I'm not saying I wasn't entertained because at least 67.25% of the time I was entertained. Okay, I was, but I feel like we didn't need this, okay? Y'all yelled at me last week, so we here tonight on Tuesday night. Tuesday night, I expect to see all of y'all here Tuesday night. Y'all had me bring myself to the front. Tuesday night. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So the episode starts off with and Brandon. And look, when I tell y'all this was the wrong way to start off the episode, so they are celebrating 1 year together. Hip hip hooray. Said that this is the best partner she has ever had. Brandon is the sun, the moon, and the stars, okay? We find out that Brandon is officially divorced, and I guess to celebrate that, they are now having a commitment ceremony. Look, it's childish, okay? I don't care what nobody says, this is childish AF, and it's really just the way, in my opinion, IMO, Tammy Talks, Tamara, it is, in my opinion, literally just MM's way and probably Brandon's way of throwing this in Ekashi's face. That's all it is. Because there's literally no reason to want to do this on camera. So everyone is invited to the ceremony, and Pastor Cal has agreed to do the commitments ceremony. Pastor Cal, please. This was in his contract. Don't y'all think that he really and truly supports this. This was a part of the contract, okay? So they are trying to grow their family. So she has him using an ovulation app of some sorts, and he appreciates her letting him know when he needs to strap on and be serious, or when he needs to just, practice. And I want to say this, the way that this man is so brazenly talking about y'all sex life and what happens in the bedroom on camera lets me know that to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes walking down the street, or every Jamal DeMarcus and Man that come walking down the street, he's talking about y'all sex life. And I feel like he's being even more crass and even more crude when he does it to his friends. But if you like it, Emin, I love it. If you like it, I love it. Okay? So we then pan over to David and Madison. All right, so they're at her apartment, their apartment. They're at their apartment and he's making breakfast. He's asking her what type of bacon she want. Make all the bacon. It's bacon. Don't ever ask me what type of bacon I want. I want it all, okay? So they are excited for the commitment ceremony. Why? Why are y'all excited for this? But they're excited to go. Madison asked David if he is nervous about seeing Michelle. And he was like, nah. No, I'm not nervous about seeing her. Why are you? Why are we bringing up Michelle during breakfast? Why are we doing this? There's literally no reason to bring up Shelly Shell right now during breakfast. The obsession with Michelle is wild. Madison, you did Michelle wrong. This is guilt eating Madison from the inside out. It has to be. So the smoke alarm goes off when David asks Madison if she is nervous about seeing Michelle. And she's like, that's the answer. Shut up. Shut up, Madison. You sound stupid. So Madison said that she's not nervous about seeing her. She's just indifferent because she is so protective over David. I don't think you're protective over David. I think you are protective about your own image. That's what I think, Madison. Do I think that Madison might like David, maybe even be in lust with David? Absolutely. Do I think that Madison is just ready to fight and put up, put him up, put him up? Do I think that she's ready to do that for David? I don't. I think that Madison is more concerned about how she has been perceived, how she has been portrayed on camera, and that's what she is nervous about. Because y'all know Michelle being ready to spill it all, okay? So David tells Madison, don't get triggered. Like, why are we even worried about her? Like, if she there, she there. Like, don't worry about her. It's cool. So Madison then lets it slip because David only made a plate for one and they're sharing. Cool. That she hasn't told her father that they live together. Why? Why would you be scared to tell your dad when your dad was the main one that told you if you like it, go for it? You didn't do anything wrong, go for it. So he should be okay with you shacking up. He should be okay with that. So David then jokes about her dad asking him to get an STD test. Oh my God, what a funny. Ha ha ha. Yeah, David, you might, because if Madison was sticking and moving with you, who knows who else she was sticking and moving with? Go on and get your test. Go on and get all of them, okay? David wants to have a man-to-man talk with Madison's father. And I said, well, why? He wants to lay it all out on the line. I want to let him know that I'm serious about you. David seems more smitten than Madison is for sure, okay? Maybe it's the blonde hair. I don't know. So Madison then said, look, oh, I wrote down, and then they proved me wrong at the end. But I wrote in my notes that Madison must have told David she don't like the control, she don't like the bang, because he ain't had it since he been with her. But then he showed up to the wedding with the bang. So maybe that's just his wedding here now. I don't know. So David feels that Madison completes him, and he's so excited to, build this life with her and make her his wife and his baby mama and all these other fascinating things that they have planned for their life together. Madison then brings up, like, look, we living in a one-bedroom apartment right now. We don't want to be here forever. And she doesn't want to necessarily stay in Chicago. David was like, wherever you go, I'll follow. It's not a big deal to me. I can go work at the factory. There's factories anywhere, and the factory is a good, honest job. I'm not shitting on it before somebody comes in my comments. My father worked at a factory for 40 years before he retired, okay? Just put that. So David is down to move. He doesn't care. He said, I don't have to be in Chicago. Not a big deal, right? So Madison said, look, after watching the show back and seeing how poorly Michelle treated you, it upset me because you didn't deserve this. You didn't deserve it. And you know what? Michelle being so hurtful was demeaning. And you don't deserve this. And I don't think she apologized. She didn't really apologize to you. And you know what? You take everything and you're so strong. Oh my God, you're so strong. Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. You are so strong, and you deserve a sincere apology. I said, Madison, what are we doing? Like, let's be very, very clear. Has Michelle formally apologized to David? I don't remember. And quite frankly, I don't care, right? The reason that I don't care is because David is now with you and happy. So why, again, are we talking about Michelle? Why? So David said, look, I don't need an apology. You know what I mean? He said that Michelle probably feels the same way about the apology that I gave to her. He said, I don't hate her, but I dislike her. Why do you dislike her? I guess I would dislike the person that I lied to their face to too, and blew up my spot on TV, but you don't have a reason to dislike Michelle. Why? Because she called you broke? You were. You were behaving broke. Because she called you a liar? You are. You lied to her face several times. Because she said you swore too much, you were cursing too much. Let's be real. David does not have a reason to dislike Michelle. He doesn't, right? So David then goes on to say that maybe Michelle just wasn't ready to get married. We clearly know Michelle was not ready to be married. And David, if we're going to be serious, if we're going to call a spade, you weren't either. You weren't ready to be married because you did not have enough money to get your own place for 6 to 9 months. You weren't ready to be married either. So I wrote it that, Michelle lives rent free in Madison's head. That's that guilt seeping out. Okay. So we then pan over to Alan. Alan said that what hurts the most is that he feels like he lost an opportunity. So he said the consensus is that Madison and David started during the honeymoon, which we know. Okay, you ain't got to tell us twice, David. You don't have to convince us of it. So they started during the honeymoon, which really gave Madison what 4 to 5 days of her actually trying. So David has moved on. He's with Val. Okay, he's cool. We see Carla. So Carla has a new place. Okay. So Michelle comes over because, they kick it together, Bitter Betty's Club or whatever y'all been calling these ladies. So they both agree that they are in a good place. Are you though? Okay. So Michelle acknowledges that she did a lot of things wrong. She said some, I'm going to say a lot, but she acknowledges that she did things wrong within this marriage and within this process. And she said if she could change anything, she would change how she behaved in the beginning. She said she was an absolute bitch. I said, Michelle, I'm glad you know, sis, because I don't have to call you on a time or two before. But the fact that you were willing to acknowledge that, I'm going to fall back from it, okay? And she said that she actually cringed watching the show back. So Michelle acknowledges that she was not ready for this because she wanted what she wanted, and the fact that she did not get what she wanted caused her to behave kind of irrationally, right? Carla said, I wouldn't change a damn thing. Carla said, I wouldn't change nothing. Carla said that she believes that everything happened like it was supposed to. I myself am a person that truly believes that things happen for a reason. If you didn't get that job, something is better that is coming for you. If you lost a friend, they were going to cross you in some way. If you didn't get, I just kind of feel like everything happens for a reason. I just do. So Carla said that she couldn't date someone like her. And I said, oh, pray tell. Enlighten us, Carl. Enlighten us, KK. Let us know. So Carla said, look, she went on a date with someone that didn't have a plan. He was very free spirited like her. And she was like, ooh, where is Wancho? Because somebody got to have a plan. Somebody has to be the brains of the operation. And if a damn sure ain't me, I said, Carla, whatever, girl. So we then see Thomas and Camille. So they go by his brother's house. Thomas's hair was very confusing throughout this episode. Sometimes it was like a little bald taper. Other times it was a bald fade. Other times it looked like it was a lot going on. Okay, but Thomas's brother I won't say looks better. Thomas's brother is more handsome to me than Thomas. But so they go by his brother's house, and Camille said the swagger meter is off the charts now. I said, oh yeah? Roxy gonna get on you about your clothes. Roxy gonna get on you about these outfits this episode, but shout out to Roxy. So they want to start a family, but they need to wait until the time is right. So initially they was like, yeah, we're gonna give it this 1 to 2 year plan. And now, Camille wants to be settled in her career and all this other type of stuff. Now, what's his name? Tom was in his confessional saying that he wants to make sure that him and Camille are like on the same page, on the right accord, because Tom said, I'm getting up in there and I don't want to be 50 years old with a newborn. So Tom is like, we got to get this thing going, moving and shaking and dancing all around. Okay. So Tom goes outside and he's talking to his brother. And he said that it was a challenge for him in the beginning because he likes to take things slow. So this kind of, pushed him to kick things up a notch. And he was happy about that, but it's still a process for him. So he is waiting for them to get to the super passionate phase of their marriage. And I'm like, damn, y'all have been married a year, over a year, and y'all aren't there yet. So his brother was like, "What, y'all ain't fucking?" And Tom was like, "No, no, no, no. We are sexually active, but we're not at a place where we're like, rip your clothes off passionate." He said he's not at that place yet where he feels that he can't live without her. And that's wild. And I get it. It's, the process is in, the process takes you through a different way of navigating how you typically would this, because I feel like the average person, right, when they get married, that is when you realize that, you can't live without this person, whatever the case. So the fact that Tom is like not there yet is a little concerning. And I wonder how Camille felt when she watched this, if they hadn't talked about this already. So he just doesn't feel yet that she is the person that he absolutely wants to spend the rest of his life with. Yikes. Yikes. Oh my God. So we get to Ekashi. He's on FaceTime with his brother. He said that he tried to be as drama free as possible. You did a poor fucking job. How about that? You did a terrible job at that, Ekashi. So he said that he had an art show and all the guys in the process showed up, and he thought that that was really, really cool because he didn't give a lot of himself to the guys because he didn't want to know about their marriage. He didn't want them in his marriage. He was just very closed off to the process just in general. And the fact that they showed up like really, really made his low day because, he ain't got no friends. And he said that it's really hard to make friends, especially the older you get. I'm gonna tell you this. People say that, and it's really not. It's really not. It's hard to make friends if you don't have a friendly personality. Ikechi, you don't give the vibe that you are willing to make friends with people. You're not an open person, right? Like I just if I saw Ikechi out at a bar, do we think that another guy would, be like, "Hey bro, you want to play darts or pool?" I don't know. How do men make friends? I feel like men just make friends just. But like he doesn't give the vibe that he is a person you would want to be friends with. You know what I mean? I mean, he wrote that hate book, Letters to the Women That I Hate. So like, oh my God, why would I want to be his friend? So he then goes on to tell his brother, because this is his younger brother, that he thought that he, Ikechi, would have friends first. I mean, friends first, would have kids first, but he's like, that didn't happen. And then said, I'm meeting with a divorce lawyer. So, shit, y'all gotta get a divorce. Go do it. So Carla meets up with her sister, and Juan comes in. And I'm like, what is happening here? So apparently Carla and Juan are going into business together to sell Juancho's ponchos. Why are y'all going into business together? What is happening? Now, we have seen Juan having meltdown after meltdown over on the Instagram about some secret that he told Carla and he told production, and they edited it out, and he feels that Carla's blackmailing him and all this type of stuff. Juan, let's be very clear. We would not have known that there was some secret that you didn't want out if you wouldn't have came on the internet and told us. We wouldn't have known. So stop it. Stop it. Juan is getting on my nerves. Juan is getting on my nerves. Juancho, okay? So he comes in, he's unprepared for this business meeting. He doesn't have his laptop. He doesn't know like the plan for the ponchos. I don't know. It seems like Carla is trying to hold on to Juan for whatever reason. And it's like, girl, leave him alone. Him in that ball spot. Let them go. Okay. So Carla said that he's very much in love with his new girlfriend. She's understanding, she's chill. And apparently his girlfriend works in the beauty industry doing lashes and eyebrows. and he mentioned something about tarot cards recently. So Carla's like, girl, what? Carla, don't do that, because his new girlfriend might have had a business plan and a business model and might have been more serious in the early stages of them dating. Carla, you yourself acknowledged that you did not take a lot of stuff serious. So what is Juan supposed to do? Not date a heifer that do eyebrows because you do hair? Stop, Carla. And I be on your side, but like, don't do this. Don't get me upset. Ekashi goes to see the divorce lawyer. Who cares? Madison and David. So they go over to Tom and Camille's place and they play charades. And then they talk about how they're not going to let, other people get in the middle of their relationship. Madison, are you happy or not, sis? Like, what's tea? Because the fact that David keeps having to let you know that, like, is if you feel this much guilt or whatever your issue is with Michelle, go talk to her. But you are never going to be super comfortable, super happy within this relationship if you don't get past whatever your weird ass issue is with Michelle. I'm going to tell you that now. It's just not going to happen. So we see she is dress shopping with Brandon. I said, Lord have mercy. Not y'all out picking out your wedding dress together, or excuse me, your commitment dress together. Next scene. So we then see the fellas, mainly Ekashi, Juan, Alan, and Tom. So they're all at Juan's house for lasagna. Okay, so have y'all seen the game? Do y'all remember when Malik was making lasagna and singing Jay Holiday? That was what I that that was what I pictured with this scene when he was like, "We're having lasagna." I said, "Oh yeah, okay." So Ikechi apologizes to the fellas for the lack of him that they got. Said that he just wanted to keep to himself, whatever. So David is coming, and Juan is like, David's coming. He's not here yet. Now Alan heard this, and Alan was like, "Yeah, I got to leave soon." I'm sorry, but don't come to my house for about 20 minutes, and it could be editing, but it seemed like Alan was there for a smooth 20 minutes. Like, I don't even think Alan ate dinner. That's how short of a time Alan was there, right? Because let's be real, lasagna is already cooked. So when you layer it and you put it together and you put it in the oven, you are doing so to melt that ricotta and to melt the cheese on top. You're not doing too much cooking. So that lasagna could have been in the oven for what, 45 minutes. So that's how short of a time that Alan was there. So they're standing around drinking and talking. And Alan was like, "So David, is David coming?" You know he's coming. You heard him say David was coming. So Alan was like, "I got to leave in like 5 to 10 minutes." Yeah, okay. Okay. So he claims that he's happy for Madison and David. He's happy they're still together because now it doesn't seem like they were just out here basically just fucking and messing around on him. He's happy that it is at least like a real relationship, a real situation. Whatever, Alan, whatever makes you happy. Alan does not seem to be over it, no more than Michelle seems to be over it. So he leaves, and then David comes in, coincidentally. So they start talking about MM's commitment ceremony. And Ikechi said, "I had no idea about it, but more power to them. I went to a divorce attorney." Ikechi, we don't care. We don't care. But Ikechi does say how it warmed his heart that they all came to support him. You could have been had this brotherhood. You could have been had this. You chose to not be around these people. That's on you. Imagine living in a city where you already don't have a lot of friends and you are getting basically built in friends and you reject them. So the ladies all meet up for a candle making class. Carla wants them to put together some scents and all that. Carla be doing her feng shui and all that type of stuff. So they make these candles and they name them. Named her candle Commitment Day. Please don't get on our nerves this episode. God. Girl, you could have named it anything else. Camille named her candle Warm Evening Love. Michelle's was Fresh Start. Madison's was Drunken Love. Tacky Boots. Okay. I'm talking about that's how you feel about you and David, girl. Okay. Carla is PP for Pussy Power. I said, oh, it's so crass. Oh my God. Oh my God. I hate the P word so much. It is so crass to me. I can't believe I just said it. Like, okay, don't like anything about it. So they didn't do a sound bath, and Carla wants them to let everybody know what they are releasing. Emmett wants to release the past. Camille wants to release what she thinks the future should look like. Michelle wants to release the notion of wanting things to be perfect. There is no such thing as perfection. Madison wants to release any resentment she has in her life. We then see her do a confessional where she's talking about Michelle once again. Madison, baby, please, what is happening? What is happening? Call Michelle, go meet up with her, talk to her so you can move past whatever it is. And then Carla wants to release judgment. Okay. So now we got MM. MM and Brandon are at the house. Pastor Cal comes over and he was like, MM, you are glowing. Like, are you glowing? And she was like, no, not yet. I'm hoping to glow soon. I want to glow. And then Brandon was like, yeah, we've been practicing. Nigga, shut the fuck up. I am so sick of hearing this man talk about their sexcapades. Like, it's tacky. This is a fucking pastor. Have you no couth? What is happening here? And MM always looks so embarrassed and like she wants to shrink into herself when he does that. Tell him it's not appropriate. Oh my God. So Pastor Cal was like, TMI, and it is. Quit talking about y'all are fucking. Who cares? Y'all are grown. Everybody fucking. My God. So Pastor Cal asked MM how she knows that this isn't love bombing. MM said because he's a man of his word. I would like to know what word he has kept. Right? Because it's one thing to say it, it's another to give examples. But whatever. So she said that they have learned to love and fight with each other over the past year, and they have incorporated themselves into each other's lives. So Brandon highlights the fact that MM, when they do have arguments, she doesn't talk to him like the nigga on the street. She talks to him like her husband. Cool. So we then find out that Brandon's father was not really in his life, not for real, for real. Um, but he reconnected with him 1 year, 20, I think he said 2015, his father passed away. So in 2014, they reconnected. He called the fire station where he worked and they hung out a little bit. And then a year later, his father unalived himself. So now Brandon got emotional. And I don't want to be nitpicky, but I have never seen somebody cry and their eyes are still very, very white and clear. Where was the pink? Where was the pink? Not even a twinge of pink. Just straight, clear eye tears. Brandon believes that their dads are up in heaven together and they saw their children down here crying and they put them together. I said, oh, sir. So Pastor Cal said, how do y'all know that you aren't trauma bonding together, which is what I think they're doing, but sure. MM said, because we don't focus on the past. We don't talk about our pain. I think you guys do, though. I think that MM talks about Ekashi. I think, maybe not by name, but she definitely talks about that failed marriage. I can definitely see MM being the type that if Brandon does something right, let's say Brandon brings home flowers for her. I never got that in my past marriage. I can see her being one of those. But she said that they focus on their future. Brandon said he knows he loves her because it's a feeling he's never felt before, and he wants to feel that always. And MM said she knows that she loves him because she cannot imagine her life without him. She does not see a future without him in it. All right. We get Madison and David. So they are going to commingle their families together. And David is like, man, I can't wait for us to be all together and we can play pool and we can play darts and we can drink Jaeger. I said, oh, so y'all are 21? Get the fuck. I have not had Jaeger since I was 21 years old. You know why? Because I'm grown. And at 37, David, or 38, for you to be that geeked about Jaeger is crazy. Crazy. Elevate your palate, sir. So they go to play pool, and David's mother says she feels like Madison is the one. Madison then blurts out, "By the way, Dad, we live together. We live together now." And her father was like, "Wait, what?" Her father, in his confessional, said he feels it's a little premature, but ain't nothing he can do about it. Madison's grown, okay? She's 30. So she says. David's parents was like, "Well, we only knew because he moved out. We didn't know they was living together." And then his father was like, "I knew he was gone because my food was still there." I said, "So your basement apartment, you ain't had no food in the refrigerator, David?" Cool. Okay. So David takes Madison's father to the side and it's like, "Look, Madison is the woman of my dreams, and I wish it was her that would have walked down the aisle." Said that, "You know what, I'll be asking you for your blessing soon. I'm all in with her, whatever the case." Her father feels that, you know what, I'm glad that Madison found somebody for her. He feels like David is the perfect guy for her. And even though that this didn't go the way that anybody anticipated, she got a fantastic ending. They hug it out. I said, "All right. All right." Somebody said Matt, never mind, I'm not gonna say it. Tom and Camille. So they are making some s'mores with like a little indoor fire pit. Awesome. They talk about their future, regurgitation of every scene that we ever see them in. All they ever do is talk about their future. That's it. We know what they want. Kids, family, success. Ekashi is driving home and he wants to call his mother for advice about a divorce. What do you need advice about, Ekashi? What do you need advice about? You didn't care about the marriage. You have been checked out for many, many moons. What are you trying to get advice about? This has not altered or stopped your life whatsoever. Let's not waste camera time. Let's not waste footage. Next scene, please. So we get to the commitment ceremony. Michelle is sitting to the side, and I think with Carla, and Carla was like, "Where's your ex?" And she said, "Sitting with the other blonde." I said, "Oh, neither one of y'all are real blondes, but whatever." So Brandon once again at the altar does a movement like this, talking about we be having sex, and I'm like, it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing, but whatever. So after the ceremony, which whatever, said her hands was sweat and they couldn't get the ring on and all that other type of stuff. So Michelle is like, "David, can I talk to you?" Madison is staring daggers in her eyes. Do y'all think that Madison thinks that Michelle would like try to get back with David or something? Cause like I said last week, her anger towards or the first part of the reunion, I think that Madison's anger towards Michelle is weird, and it was even more solidified to me this episode. It's just weird. It's just weird. So Michelle apologizes sincerely to David. She said that after watching back the season, she's embarrassed of herself, and she's apologizing to him. She like there was no excuse for what she did, whatever the case. He seems to accept it. He has already apologized to her, so they decide to move on. Madison looked pissed that Michelle even wanted to speak to him. Now, earlier when they did the sound bath, Madison said that she is learning to give people grace and to give people empathy, and Michelle has a right to feel how she feels, and she knows that she has not handled things correctly with Michelle. I guess I don't understand, Madison, why you don't think you owe Michelle an apology. Because let's be real, David cheated on Madison, right? Sure. However, Madison, you know that girl looked at you as a friend. You know she did. You know that she was confiding in you, right? You played in Michelle's face week after week after week. Let's just say you did not know that the text message was for you. Fine. But when Michelle asked you point blank, were you messing around with David, all that type of stuff, you lied to her face. You honestly and truly did. And I don't know why you feel that everybody is owed apologies every which way, but you don't feel the need to apologize to Michelle, because you tried to gaslight that lady too. Then let's not forget your confessional when you were all big bag Billy ass or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but you were doing a lot talking about she needs to keep my name out her mouth and all that bumping of the gums. You tried to, talk about some you gonna fight her, let's get in the ring. Madison, you made a fool of yourself. So I don't know why you don't think that you owe Michelle an apology while you feel that Michelle owes David an apology. Madison, you are not happy in this relationship. And a lot of it, I think, is predicated on the fact that you know that the way that you got with him is grimy. You know that. You know that. And I feel like you were trying to use anger to cover up the fact that you know you did some fugazi shit. But everybody kind of goes around, talks about what they learned. We have heard this over and over and over. So this was the end of Married at First Sight season 18, Chicago. As a season, okay, in totality, I'm gonna give it a B plus. I enjoyed the season. People got on my nerves for sure. Ekashi, Michelle at times, Madison at times, David at times. But overall, I think it was a good season. So y'all know that Married at First Sight is moving to Peacock. So I'm interested to see how that goes. I'll still be recapping, obviously, but I'm interested to see how that goes. If they switch up the formatting, is it still going to be 2 hours over on the Peacock? Is it still going to be weekly? Once I find out more information, I would definitely come to you guys and let you all know about it. Once again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video. Look out for a community post where I'll put more info about the live we're going to do, and then I'll list some of the other new shows that I will be doing coming up in the next couple weeks. Peace.